Hey everyone, it's Alex, and welcome to the Marvel Snap Decks of the Week, the weekly series where I show you guys top 5 meta decks to help you gain rank in Marvel Snap. As always, link to my Twitch is down in the description below. I'd love it if you joined our community live, and as always, press the like button if you'd like to support this ongoing series. It's literally all that YouTube cares about. Now you might be thinking, Alex, why are you showing me this fancy Groot variant? Well, it's because Groot is now back in the meta, and our first deck is actually utilizing Groot in a Sera Surfer list. Now, this is a Sera Surfer list that I believe has an incredible win rate outside of the lists that have Mr. Negative as well, who we'll talk about later. But basically, this list revolves around 2 key cards. First, you have Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is, I know, a paid card at the current time of recording, I should say, because basically you are buying it in the season pass. However, it is very instrumental in the current meta, and I would be damned if I didn't include it. Silver Surfer is an excellent card right now, and it really amplifies the power of the 3s, especially something like Brood. One thing that you need to understand about Sera Surfer is that it revolves around Sera as well. The key thing about this list is that miracle turn 6 play, where you can play 3 cost cards because they all cost 2, and you've got 6 energy thanks to the turn 5 Sera. That results in allowing you to play 3 cards, and the last one being Silver Surfer, provided of course that your draw is consistent. With regards to your earlier plays, I do like Okoye because it provides additional value to your board, buffs up people like Brood. You can also take out Okoye if you wish, play someone like Forge, who I think is really interesting in this list as well, because the Forge will give additional power to something like Brood, which is a staple in this deck. However, I do like Okoye because it buffs pretty much everybody. And remember, it's not the power that matters with Silver Surfer, it's the energy. So basically, it doesn't matter what power your 3 cost card, they have to be 3 costs. It's kind of the opposite of Cerebro, so Okoye works well. Nova's an interesting turn 1 play because not only does it give you a play on turn 1, but it synergizes excellent with Killmonger and allows you to give additional reach on your board. When you consider playing Killmonger on turn 6 in conjunction with Silver Surfer, it's not just +3, it's essentially +4 as the Nova procs as well. I found Groot to be very successful in this list as well. Not played on turn 3, but rather played on turn 6, where you can better predict where your opponent's likely to play. That allows Groot to become basically a 6-9 and a 6-10 in conjunction with the Nova and Silver Surfer proc as well. It's actually pretty impressive what Groot can do. I like the Juggernaut in conjunction with the Storm, and Maximus is just massive value, basically a 3-10, it's unheard of, and the extra 2 cards drawn, I mean, are very whatever. If the cards that are being drawn really bother you, you can take out someone like Juggernaut and Polaris, and you can put anybody's favorite doggo, which is, where is he, why can't I see him? It's Cosmo. So for instance, you can take out Polaris if you wish, and you can add Cosmo, and essentially you can play the Maximus on top of the Cosmo if you don't want them to draw cards. Conversely, if you play Maximus on turn 6, the draws don't even matter anyways. Regardless, I do think that this is an absolutely fantastic deck and one that you can count on in the current meta. Alright, so for deck number 2, Exodia Gambit is one of my favorite decks that I'm playing right now. Now, I know this isn't showing up on anyone else's tier list. This is a purely Alex special, because this list has been so fun for me, and I'm going to be making a full guide on it, within the next week or two as I continue to refine the list. But I think I'm pretty damn close, right? So basically, I want to show you this because I've been so excited about this list. Basically, the Exodia Gambit play revolves around basically utilizing Gambit to essentially just delete the entire enemy board. No matter what they play, you just delete their board and you win the game. It is so damn fun, and it's one of these lists that can be a little inconsistent, but when you consider the multiple win conditions, it actually feels pretty good. First of all, you're using the wave so you can sneak out someone like Onslaught early. That allows you to have the Onslaught effect in a play, so you can also follow up that Onslaught with someone like Mystique. Moreover, you can also follow up with Wong, then play Mystique on top of the Wong, and then finish off with Gambit. That's the ultimate combo. Alternatively, if you don't have that, you could play Wong into a turn 5 Gambit play, and then follow that up with Odin to reproc the Gambits with the Wong and basically delete their board. There's a couple different approaches that you can play. You can play the one where you play Gambit on turn 6 with the Onslaught, Wong, Mystique, or you can play Gambit earlier on and follow up with the Odin on turn 6. The Chavez is one of the ones that I've been thinking about a lot, so if you want to sub Chavez out, that's absolutely fine. I include Chavez on this list in order to get that wave Electric Korg and the Iceman earlier on, especially when you consider what Psylocke can do in conjunction with Wong. I like the earlier draws, but of course when you have 2 6s, it can feel bad drawing Chavez on 6. But this deck is so heavily concentrated on kind of like early tempo, especially with your draws, that it's worth having the Chavez at this time. You could also consider subbing out Korg for someone like Black Widow, but the problem is they play the Widow's Bite. Yes, you're disrupting their hand, but Widow's Bite's going to be on the board, which feels bad. Whereas with Korg, they're just very unlikely to play the Rock. It just disrupts their hand, and therefore they play less cards, which gives you less targets and more of an ability to delete their entire board with Gambit. Regardless, I'm still tweaking this list ever so slightly. The major concern for me is still Chavez. I'm not 100% sold on it, like full disclosure. It's the Chavez I really struggle with in this list. I do think it works better. I'd be interested in hearing your comments and your suggestions as well. The other thing worth noting, you might be thinking, Alex, why is Elektra in this list? That's kind of weird. The reason why I use Elektra is similar for the reason why I ultimately when I ended up with Korg, is because Elektra allows you to delete like a low value cost card on the board. Remember, you want to hit them with the Gambit play to delete all their value. If they have like a squirrel out there, like a Squirrel Girl or a Ant-Man or whatever, like that's kind of a wasted snipe on Gambit. Let Elektra hit one of those snipes, which gives you more of an opportunity to hit the more valuable cards with Gambit. And that's the thought process I'm running with this deck. In the end of the day, I really love this deck. I don't see anyone else talking about it, and I've won absolutely insane games with it. It's definitely worth trying out. For deck number 3, we're back to Silver Surfer, and we're talking about the Silver Surfer Mr. Negative variant. Now, basically what you're looking at here is Mr. Negative, for those that don't know, swaps the power and the cost of all cards within your deck. That allows you to really take advantage of cards like Ironheart, which becomes a 0/3, which you can basically play for free. Some lists still include Sera here, but Sera can feel a little redundant. Still an excellent card and can still be played on 5, and you can still basically miracle out everything that's run with negative, but Sera sometimes makes it feel like your turn 5 is just an even bigger setup for turn 6, so you can consider cutting Sera negative if you wish. Sorry, the Sera from the negative if you wish, and you can include someone like Rogue, which is a great counter for like the Patriot list that you're often to see in the current meta. However, I still kind of lean towards including Sera. Regardless, Angela low-key got nerfed for Sera list because of negative list because of the zero power, which gets reversed into a 0/2. Psylocke allows you to sneak out the Mr. Negative on turn 3. Wong is an interesting addition here. The reason why I like Wong is because you do have a lot of 3 drops here, and ultimately Wong allows you to double proc the Silver Surfer while allowing you to have a value 2/4 play when inverted. Iron Man is just an amazing value piece, especially as a 0/5. You can even play Iron Man on 5 if you so desire. The advantage to playing Sera in this list, of course, is that on turn 6, it affords you the opportunity to play 3 3-cost cards, finishing it off with Silver Surfer. And if you happen to have Wong out there, I feel like you can play Wong usually on turn 5 because you're playing negative on turn 4, or if you Psylocke the negative out on turn 3, that allows you to basically double procs the Silver Surfer, which is absolutely insane, especially with the Sera. There's also a list running Bast as well. Bast, I'm not even sure how to say it honestly, which is pretty damn solid as well. I've seen a lot of success with that, but for this particular list, I find it to be very successful, in particular if you like playing negative based decks. Alright, so here's another Alex special for the Pool 3 list. This is Devil Dino Zola, and I actually featured this before on one of my featured location videos, and people were like, Alex, this list is god tier. I cannot believe how much I'm winning with it, and I've actually been turning to this very often during the current meta when I gotta get sick of playing the Silver Surfer, even though Silver Surfer I think is a little bit higher tier than this. Let's say you don't have all the Silver Surfer pieces, or you didn't pay for the battle pass like many people don't. I think it's about 50-50 based on the pool I did recently. But anyways, I think this Devil Dino Zola list is absolutely incredible, and no one sees it coming. Basically, what you're doing here is you're zooing out using Wolfsbane. She's totally underrepresented in the current meta. She basically helps kind of clap into a location with the Sentinels, the Nightcrawlers, the Icemans, the Agent 13s, and just finish a location there. A great finisher on top of Storm. White Queen's fantastic here because it really helps to scout out what the opponent's doing so that you can know what to expect on their turn 6, while they have no idea what to expect on your turn 6. And basically the idea here is that you have multiple kind of concepts here. Basically, they revolve around playing Devil Dinosaur, usually into a solo lane. This allows you to reliably hit the Devil Dinosaur with Arnim Zola. However, let's say you're in a situation where you can't play the Arnim Zola reliably in a Devil Dinosaur, like you couldn't play into a location, there's multiple cards there. You have the follow-up Taskmaster. excellent. So that allows you to just copy the power of the Devil Dinosaur, which is great. So you have 2 Devil Dinosaur based win conditions, and then you have the Chavez if everything basically fails and you just need a turn 6 play, while also ensuring that you draw a little more consistently. Now, if you're interested in other cards to substitute, I do think Chavez can be subbed out of this particular list. You do have a pretty even early draw, especially with something like Sentinel, which continuously refills your hand, which helps to reduce the punishing effect, as if, like, for instance, you happen to not draw your white queen. But anyways, I do think this list does really work well. It is one of those lists that like really surprises people, especially with the multiple win conditions. You've got the Zola win condition into the Devil Dinosaur, and you have the replication of the Taskmaster of the Devil Dinosaur as well. And remember, when you have a stormed location, that Zola play allows you to access that stormed location where your opponent can't. And we'll say they play, like a Dr. Doom, they ain't competing with a Devil Dinosaur. And the nice thing about it is if you have turn initiative on turn 6, even if they try and Shang-Chi, your Arnim Zola just gets rid of the Devil Dinosaur and their Shang-Chi hits nothing, right? Unless they predictively play into one of the other lanes, but in that case, you could also consider playing Taskmaster. So anyways, I think this list provides a lot of extra value in the current meta. Alright, so for all you elite gamers still slugging it out into Pool 2, I've got a Sandman Disruption list that I think is very good in the current meta, mainly because it hard counters the Silver Surfer list that you might be encountering. But anyways, let's talk about it. Basically, the main point of this deck here is running Sandman, which only allows people to play 1 card per turn. Both sides. Now for you build your deck around that, so it's not that big a deal. But for them, if they're playing a Silver Surfer deck with Sera, I mean, this is an auto retreat. Like, they can't do anything. It is so obstructive to a lot of the current combo decks that are being played, whether it be Sera negative, Surfer negative, and everything else. It all revolves around these massive turn 6 swings, which can't happen if a Sandman's on the board. And the nice thing about the Sandman is that you have also disruption in, say, Cosmo, but most importantly is really after you play Sandman, you're playing Shang-Chi, Blue Marvel, and then the Spectrum as the closer. Sandman is an ongoing card that gets buffed by the Spectrum. Now, this is a really interesting list because you do have the Ebony Maw, and it can be stressful playing Ebony Maw. You just need to know that even if you don't finish the lane with Ebony Maw, protecting with the armor is key. And then you can also, if you have Ant-Man there in conjunction, you can also bring the Nightcrawler into the Ebony Maw lane in order to ensure that, like, you get that kind of additional power that you might need. But remember, Ebony Maw does get impacted by Blue Marvel and Spectrum, so it can have additional reach more than you would expect. Regardless, this is a very interesting deck list. I actually did a full guide on it. I'll link it up above, and it's one that you can utilize if you're encountering a lot of combo decks in the current meta. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I've got another video down for you below. Definitely check it out if you're interested in seeing more Marvel Snap content. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all your support, and we'll see you in the next Marvel Snap video.